All right, this is part 2. We're going to talk about our gear coming up for this summer. Stay tuned. Here we go. Okay, so summer's coming. It's almost time to get the boat in the water. Brad's got a little work to do yet on the boat. We're hoping he gets that done soon.
Yep, shouldn't be too bad. I'm hoping we can get that in the water. Otherwise, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, we need to get it so it doesn't sink
Yep.
and it runs. So what we're going to talk about in this video is the stuff that we've assembled, our gear, to try and catch some fish.
That's right. So what do you want to start with here, Stanton? I am going to recommend we start with the rods.
Yep, sounds good.
One of the most important, most critical part of fishing, you need a fishing rod.
Yeah, you're not going to catch much if you, well, you might, but you need a rod.
Yeah. So why don't we start with you? Stanton, what did you choose as your weapon of choice for this spring, summer fishing?
So what we have here, gentlemen, is, and ladies, is the Ugly Stik GX2. There's 2 different versions of this that I could find. I can't even remember what the other one was. It was more expensive, so that's why I didn't get it. This was the cheaper version of the Ugly Stik GX2. Only difference that I could figure is that one had a cork handle. This one has like a foamish type handle. So, like I said, it's the Ugly Stik GX2. It's got your medium action onto it, 6 feet, and it's going to catch a ton of fish.
All right, for me, what I've decided to go with is the Berkley 7-foot lightning rod. This was one that I really did some investigation into what type of a rod I wanted before I ended up getting this one. This was it ended up to be perfect for me because what happened is I decided I wanted a 7-foot rod, which will allow me to cast out a little bit further, I think. I also wanted a medium heavy because I want something that has enough of a backbone, strong enough that I can do some lighter finesse stuff. This one's getting a little bit stiff for some finesse stuff, but I wanted something that I can put some heavier lures on. I can do big pike into weeds. I can do bass into weeds. I can do pike. Some heavier lures I can put on this thing. And as you know, if you've been watching this channel, Stanton loves his Rapala and I love my Berkley. This one just happened to be Berkley. They had it at the store and it was pretty much the cheapest rod I could find, roughly about 75 bucks Canadian. And it fit the bill, so that's what I ended up with.
Okay, so the second, possibly most important item, it's the thing that goes on the rod. That's your reel. So, the reel.
What did you end up with here, Stanton?
The reel that I took was it's a Mitchell 300 series, very famous 300 series Pro. There was also an XE. I talked to the guy at Canadian Tire. He said that this one, although it was a little more expensive, it was smoother. It had 10 bearings instead of 8 bearings. So I said 10 bearings sound better than 8, so that's why I bought it.
Okay, for me, it really came down to starting with, do I want a spinning reel or a bait caster? I have 2 cheap, really old spinning reels. So, and when you look at a lot of the videos, you talk to a lot of pros. Not that I've talked to any pros, but when you hear a lot of pros, seems like a lot of them, a good number of them, want to use bait casters. So I ended up with a Abu Garcia bait caster. This is the Abu Garcia Revo bait caster. I'm a little bit worried about this because I have never used a bait caster before, and from everyone that I've talked to, bait casters are a real pain to learn. Spinning reels are pretty quick. You can pick those up and learn them almost immediately. Whereas bait casters, it's not uncommon to get rat nests in your line. Really struggle with them for the first few times that you go out. Nevertheless, that's what I wanted. So this is what I ended up with.
Okay, so next item on the list And this is something that I just bought today, this very day, is a tackle box. Being a new fisherman, I didn't have any kind of tackle box. I didn't want something too big. I hemmed and hawed over, 6 tray. It's just too big. It's too bulky. I don't want to mess around with that. I'll be tripping over it in the boat, whatever. So I decided on this little gem right here. This is your Plano. How many trays? The 3 trays. This has got 3 beautiful trays. And so you open it up. There's my spider wire. We'll talk about that later. It doesn't fit in there as well as it should, which is really irritating because I think that thing is supposed to be figured back. It doesn't fit. Anyways, that, ladies and gentlemen, is the tackle box that I'll be using this summer.
All right, this might be a little bit controversial, but I also went out and got a tackle box. So as you can see here, this is actually not a stereotypical. This is more of a tactical backpack. It has that MOLLE system, so you can get things that clip on there. I don't really care too much about that. Really what I was looking for is something that is big enough that I can put the trays in. So there's a number of different compartments in here, pocket here. But the idea here is, and I don't really call these tackle boxes, but I know some people do. I can put a number of these kind of jobs in there. I have currently 3 of these, and then I have one bigger one of these, and I've got a dollar store other Tupperware. So this is what I've decided to go with, just a big old backpack, and I'll shove a bunch of these types of things in here, and hopefully that serves me well.
All right, next up is fishing line. There's to me anyways, it seems like there's a million different options. You got monofilament, you've got braided, you've got fluorocarbon, all kinds of different stuff. I just went nice and easy. No particular reason other than I like the look of the spider wire. This is a 10-pound test, braided, it's green. It seems like a good middle of the road, easy to hopefully manage, and we'll get it on the reel and see how it performs.
All right, and for me, I did something similar, but if I can find out exactly which hole I put it in, the type of line that I am going for is your Berkley Trilene XL Smooth Casting Highly Manageable Monofilament Line. So this is 8-pound test. I got the 8-pound test instead of the 10-pound.
Big mistake.
So I went the 8-pound test monofilament line. I can tell you the main reason why I did this. I think I've watched too many YouTube videos, talked to too many people. I think I'm getting sucked into the hype of what I really want is braided line with a fluorocarbon leader. We can get into that some other video why I would want that, but I think that's what I want. However, I am a little bit stressed out over the new bait caster line. I've heard so many people say that when you're learning a bait caster, it's really difficult. You're going to get a rat's nest. And even when I bought the reel, the guy said to me, make sure you buy cheap, not that this is cheap, but make sure you buy cheaper monofilament line because you're very likely going to wreck the line fairly quickly, right? So that's why I went monofilament, and this is Berkley Trilene. I think it's good stuff. That's my line of choice, at least for the first month.
All right, next up is tackle. Now, this is obviously there's a million different ways that you can go, a million different things that you can use. You go to any tackle store, any outdoor store, and there's walls and walls or aisles and aisles of different types of lures and jigs and plastics. And so eventually you got to narrow it down to something. Being a Rapala guy, that sort of narrows things down for me right off the get-go. So this is the first one I picked up today. This is, I'm going to have to get my glasses on so I can actually read what this thing is. This is your Rapala jointed J7 floating Fire Tiger paint scheme or whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. The reason why I picked this one is because a friend of mine that I went fishing with briefly last year, he caught 2 pretty big bass using a very similar looking lure to this. So that's why I picked this one, other than the fact that it's Rapala.
And that one has had proven success. You've
Yes,
seen
I've
success with that
seen success with this one. So that was number 1 on the list, at least for me.
Yeah.
Maybe it might be way down on the list for other people, but for me, I've seen it work. That's why I got it. The second one on the list that I bought, again, just bought this today, it's your Lunker Hunt pre-rigged worms. So these are weedless. It's only the one is actually pre-rigged. There's 2 other ones, which is kind of you think they can just rig them all for you. But I'm lazy. I like the fact that you just put this thing on the end of your line and you throw it in. It's weedless. Hopefully that works. I think it's sort of similar to a Texas rig setup. Not exactly, but similar. Good for bass, hopefully. And so that's number 2. Number 3, well, number 3 and 4 sort of go together. This is the first part. It's the weedless flippin' jungle jig. And then you attach one of these, apparently, gentlemen and ladies. This is the Crush City Customs cleanup craw. So that's the winning combination. You put these into either rocks or, brush that's in the water, and you let it sink down, and then you sort of pull it up, let it sink down, and the bass apparently love it. So again, all these setups, I'm going to catch so many fish that it's going to be ridiculous.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of fish to catch on those. That's for sure. Those look great.
And then the last thing, this isn't even. It's just a leader. It was titanium leader that I picked up today. It was this was a little spendy, but it might last me all year if it's titanium and it's a spinner, because I'm using a spinning rod. That'll lessen the chance of things getting twisted up and breaking and
yeah.
That's pretty much all I have in the tackle box so far. I've got a few other things. But that's what I bought today.
All right, let's dig into this and see what I've gotten here. In terms of new things, one of the new things, I won't talk about what's in it, but I did buy this new tray. This is called the Medium Crankbait Organizer.
You've got way more stuff than I do.
I've got some stuff in here. I'm not going to talk about any of these because none of these are these are really old. Unfortunately, I mean, I say I don't like Rapala, but that's really just because of our competition. I know it's good stuff, and unfortunately, these 3 are Rapala, that's a Rapala, that's Rapala. I think that so I have a bunch of Rapala stuff.
And this belonged to your dad, right? That's how you came.
The gear did, yes. This is a new case,
right?
Yeah.
But the reason why you have these lures is because they were your dad's, and he gave them to you.
Yes. However, this is the new case I bought. So that's one thing I bought recently. Now, one thing that I do want to call out is, so let me just bring out the one new lure I have in here. This is called the Berkley Dime 4. So I've heard a lot of good things about the Berkley Dimes. That hopefully, I think this is kind of like a bass magnet. So we'll see how that goes. That looks pretty good. And it's a what do you call that? A noisemaker?
Rattler.
It's a rattler, so it's got stuff in it. That's a great little bait. Okay, so I basically went with 3 new things. There was 3 things I was targeting. One was a hard plastic, and I knew I wanted that Berkley Dime. The other 2 things that I wanted to do, and keep in mind that these lures, not necessarily that Berkley Dime, but the other 2 things that I was looking for were very much specific to the time of year we're in. I wanted something that we could potentially, sure, we might get a different kind of fish, but I was really targeting something that might get me a perch or a sunfish. So with that in mind, there was 2 main things I wanted to go with. One, some kind of swim bait that was pre-rigged for me. So these are the Power Bait swim shads. These are,
Berkeley?
yep.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna work.
So these look pretty good to me. They're not minnows. They're a little bit bigger than a minnow, but they're pretty small. I think these will be pretty easy to rig up, and I think there's going to be a lot of fish on these. And then the other thing, similar to what, or not similar to what you got, the exact same
Yeah,
thing.
exact same thing.
Got the Lunker Hunt finesse worm. So I don't know. It doesn't say Ned rig on it, but that's essentially what I was looking for. I wanted a Ned rig. I'm going to use some of these other baits, specifically the swim bait, to really hunt the fish. And if I get a bunch of bites from the same location, that's where I'm going to drop one of these and just work it on the bottom slowly. And hopefully we can get a few more with this. So I'm calling this a Ned rig, even though it's not really called a Ned rig. So those are the main three things, and that's the direction I took for tackle. So that's it for part 2 of this short in-home series. Last week we went over a little bit of what we had learned, our top 7 for ice fishing, top seven ice fishing, and then this time we wanted to go over the tackle. And hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something, and hopefully if you are a great fisherman and you think we're going wrong with our tackle, let us know. But I think we're off to a good start with the equipment that we have.
So, yeah, the best test is going to be to get out there and put these things in the water, see if they catch anything. So hopefully in the next video, we're either going to be on the shore casting out, or we're going to be in a boat and we're going to be fishing. So stay tuned. We got lots more to come.
Thanks for watching.